2015, paper 2. Question 8. Area and volume. A company has a spherical storage tank. The diameter of the tank is 12 meters. Write down the radius of the tank. So that's just half of 12, which is 6. Find the volume of the tank, correct to the nearest meter cubed. So when we look up our formula tables, volume of a sphere is 4 all over 3 pi r cubed. Sub in 6 for your radius. 4 all over 3 pi 6 cubed comes out as 904.778, but it says to the nearest meter, so 905 meters cubed. The company paints the outside curved surface area of the spherical tank. So we're talking about area here. Find the curved surface area of the tank correct to one decimal place. So for formula tables, curved surface area is 4 pi r squared. Again, subbing in, the radius is 6. 4 pi 6 squared gives you 452.389. And it says to one decimal place. So the 8 causes the 3 to round up, and we get 452.4 meters squared for area. The curved surface area is painted with a special paint. 1 litre of paint will cover 3.5 meters squared. Find how many litres of paint are used. Correct to the nearest litre. Okay, I have 452.4 meters squared, and 1 litre of paint will cover 3.5. So if I divide 3.5 into 452.4, I'll know how many litres of paint I need. So that's just sort of the long division one. 4.5 into 452.4 is equal to 129.257. Now, that's a litre of 1 litre of paint will cover. So to the nearest litre, 130 litres. Okay, the paint is sold in 25 litre tins, and each tin costs €180. Find the total cost of the paint. Okay, so I need to know how many tins I have to buy, first of all, and then I can multiply it by 180. So I've got 130 litres and 25 litres per tin. So if I divide 25 into 130, I get 5.2. But I can't buy 5.2 tins, so I have to buy 6 tins. So 6 tins multiplied by 180 gives you €1,080. Moving on to the second part. Here we have a container, and the container is a cylinder with 2 hemispherical ends. At another site, the company has a differently shaped container with the same volume. That's talking about the answer that we got to part A. This tank has hemispherical ends. So hemispherical is just half a sphere stuck on either end. But when I look at that, 2 halves together would actually make a whole sphere, and we might use that later. This tank has a hemispherical ends and a cylindrical midsection of length h. So from here to here is h, as shown. The radius of each hemispherical end is 4.5 meters. So from the center of that hemisphere coming out here is 4.5 meters. And it's also the radius of the cylinder part, which is this bit here. So find the volume of one hemispherical end, correct to the nearest meter cubed. So looking up our formula tables, volume of a sphere is 4 all over 3 pi r cubed. Volume of a hemisphere is the same, but we're going to divide by 2. So subbing in my 4.5 for my radius, it's 4 all over 3 pi times 4.5 cubed divided by 2. We get 243 all over 4 pi, but it says to the nearest meter. That means I have to use the SD button on the calculator, and I get 190.8517. And that to the nearest meter gives us 191 meters cubed. Last bit then says, find the length h of the cylindrical section. And this one's kind of tricky. Okay, so we know that one hemisphere volume is 191 meters cubed. So one hemisphere volume is 191 91 meters cubed, and that's 191 meters cubed. So put the two of them together and we get 381.7035 meters cubed. However, we know that the volume of the whole tank is the same volume as our previous question, which came up to be 905 meters cubed. So therefore, the volume of the cylindrical part must be 905 meters cubed, which is the full volume. Take away the two hemispherical ends. So 905, which is the full volume of this shape here, this container, take away the two ends, means I'm left with just the volume of the cylinder being 523.3. Okay, so that's the volume of the cylinder. And what am I looking for? H. So volume of a cylinder and H, that's what I'm looking for. So I get my formula, pi r squared H is equal to 523.3 from here. Again, as I said, this cylinder also has a radius of 4.5 meters. So I put 4.5, sub it in. We get that is equal to 523.3. What did I do then? I divided both sides by pi bracket 4.5 squared. Okay, so I divide that cancels, goes into each other once, and I'm left with H. And on this side, I also divide it by pi times 4.5 squared. Work all that out, and we get 8.22. And it says correct to one decimal place, so 8.2 meters.